Okay, I'm going to have to check because I don't remember which episode this is for the Norton. Anyway, I'm starting to put her back together. I'll put the episode number in the title when I figure that out. Anyway, like I said, getting this back together. There's the last thing to come out of that frame were the headstock bearings. So that's the first thing to go back in. So let's get busy with that. Right, that's it. Those bearings are tapped back into place, all cleaned up and greased. And when you put this type of bearing in, just make sure that you put them in the right way around. They're only supposed to take thrust in one direction. If you get them in the wrong way, they'll literally come apart. So be careful that you put them in the right way the first time. Let's see. That's what I put them in with. It's a ball peen hammer, but it's not steel. It's brass. So that's a little bit easier on the bearing races, and you only tap on the outer race when you're doing it. When you get those bearings down in position, the frame will ring when you're actually on the bottom, so you know that you're all the way in there. Well, it really doesn't get much more straightforward than that. Just slide the bottom yoke up through the bearings, tighten up that nut in there until you've preloaded the bearing. Then back it off so that you have a little bit of free play going on there, and then you put the top yoke on and tighten up the top yoke nut against there, and you're all set to go. She's ready to accept the forks now. Okay, there we go. The forks and the yokes are all fastened onto the frame. So I don't have any oil in here. I didn't screw these down. Besides that, if you ever run into a problem with these, that you run out of threads on the top caps, that's probably because you don't have the instrument cups in there. Because I did forget that once years ago on somebody else's bike, and it took me about an hour to figure out why I couldn't screw those caps in, and then I realized, oh geez, I don't have the instrument cups in. Anyway, the forks went in relatively uneventfully. There's a little trick that we all know about. Anybody who works on British bikes, these fork pullers, they may not be an absolute must, but by God, if you don't have one, it makes the job a heck of a lot harder, especially if you have shrouded forks, because you got no way of getting a hold of them except to screw the adapters into the top of the forks and pull them up through the top yoke. So they're good for that anyways. Yeah, really good. There's all the little different adapters in there that go along with that kit. So it's a good thing to have if you're working on British bikes, especially the ones where you can't get at the forks, especially, like I say, the shrouded ones and that sort of thing. Anyway, let's see now. The next thing to do will be get the Royal Enfield off the lift and clamp the front wheel in that wheel chock, and then get the front wheel in between those forks, and then I can start reassembling the rest of the machine. It's a little bit different putting these together because so much of the bike relies on the engine plates to hold it all together, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Anyway, that's it for this little section. Okay, that's a good little start for kicking the assembly process off. Got the front wheel in there on the forks in the yokes in the frame, so that's a real good start. I've been fiddling around with the engine mounts as well. I wasn't happy with the amount of gloss that was on them, but I am now, because over that black paint that I put on them, and there's the fairing from the tail light too. That looks really great. So anyway, that's ready to have all the bits and pieces assembled back onto it as well. But yeah. Anyway, let me think, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was going to talk to you about the clear coat that I put on these engine mounts and that sort of stuff to get a nice gloss going on and to protect them as well. That's the stuff. I get that from Napa Auto Parts. It's a really good two-part clear coat. When you use it, take that little button out of the cap. You punch that that area in there on the bottom, and that releases the hardener into the clear coat spray. And then yeah, you got like 48 hours to use it. That's the pot life once you've mixed it. But I have a little secret to tell you about. If you plop that in the freezer, not the fridge, but the freezer, it will last for 3, sometimes 4 months before the chemical reaction will harden it. So if you only use half a can, you don't want to throw that stuff away, because that stuff is expensive. It's like $40 a can, right? So, and it is really, really, really good stuff. So yeah, if you only use like a half a can and you don't want it to go bad, just throw it in the freezer. It'll be good for months afterwards. And anytime you use this kind of a thing, you want to make sure that you're wearing a good respirator, not one of those cheap little N95 masks. That's not good enough, because you get around this stuff too much and it can crystallize in your lungs, and that's not good. Cause you all kinds of problems. Trust me, I know. So anyway, I think tomorrow, once that clear coat is hardened up, I'll be able to start getting the swing arm onto the engine plate, get that into the frame, and then once that's in place, I should be just about ready to put the engine in. So we'll see how it goes. I tend to get a little bit long-winded with these videos sometimes, so this is the third take on this one. Okay, I've got a rolling chassis, so that's good. It's a little bit flexible in the back there, because the engine's part of that whole assembly that holds those engine plates in place with the isoelastics and all that. But if I needed to get it off the lift and push it around, I can do that. So what else? Back wheel went on easy. Yeah, nothing to talk about there. The chain guard, of course, that went on. The little bolt that holds the chain guard is kind of stuck in there, and I didn't want to take it out, so I said, hey, why don't I just fit the chain guard while I'm doing it. So anyway, that's up there in place. First, talk for a second about this little bracket. The later ones were welded onto the chain guard itself. This one isn't. It's a kind of, it looks like a homemade riveted up rig, but Norton did that on some of these early bikes. They didn't worry about fit and finish with some of the little things, and that's one of the little things. So if you buy a newer one of those, you won't have a bracket like that on there. Anyway, anything else? No, I think that pretty much covers it for this. I've got the jack sitting on the lift there. That's there so that when I go to put the engine in, I can support the engine with the jack while I bolt it to the rear engine plates, and then I can get that front isoelastic mount in place, and that way, when that's there, everything will be good and solid and well mounted up. So anyway, for now, that's it. Hope you like this little video. You can click like and maybe subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching.